And welcome to Cinema Therapy Reviews. I'm Jonathan Decker, licensed therapist who loves movies. This is
Alan Seawright, a professional filmmaker who needs probably more therapy after the Venom trilogy.
Aww.
Hi, Jonathan.
Well,
How are
baby.
you?
Hello. Today we're talking about Venom, The Last Dance, Tom Hardy's weird side universe trilogy, the capper of Venom movies. Alan, what were your thoughts on this film?
My thoughts on this film were very similar to my thoughts on the other Venom films, which basically boils down to, huh? What?
What did you like?
Okay, Tom Hardy is brilliant in all three of these films. He is brilliant in this film. Anytime it's just him and Venom sort of hanging out and having their weird odd couple bros, but maybe they're into each other dynamic, like, it's great. I love it. And Tom Hardy's performance as like a human meat puppet being orchestrated, it is so insane and so great. You know the old rule, like, is your movie better than watching those two actors like go to lunch?
Uh-huh.
This was not.
Right.
It would have been a better movie to watch Tom Hardy and Venom go to lunch. We're not going to get into spoilers, but we'll talk a little bit about the plot. It doesn't matter. There's a bad guy who literally never shows up, ever. He sends some creepy minions who are meat wood chippers, essentially, in giant cockroach bodies. They're creepy, the design's great.
I was gonna say, in fairness, whenever they do their meat wood chipping thing, it's pretty cool and terrifying.
It's awesome. Like, they're great monsters. I really like them. But, you know, they're kind of soulless. The bad guy literally never shows up. He's being set up for another movie, which this is the end of the trilogy, so what?
Not on my watch.
Juno Temple and Chiwetel Ejiofor are, you know, always amazing. They didn't need to be in this. They played generic sort of grumpy military guy and overly enthusiastic sort of frou-frou scientist. Like, these were not, we did not need talent for these roles.
They take a half-hearted stab at giving her a backstory that doesn't really matter or go anywhere. And I understand she is based on a comic character. And so it's kind of like, hey, for those of you who know the comics, here's a little signal that she's this character, and here's her, but like, it doesn't amount to anything in this script, in this film.
I've never read any Venom comics, and so any of those little side things meant nothing to me because they meant nothing to the screenplay. And there were some really fun sequences. There were a couple of actually good action sequences. There were several action sequences that were kind of monotonous and boring because I didn't care about the people or what was happening. And they were kind of just noisy and chaotic.
I thought the horse action scene was really fun.
Oh, yeah, totally. You know, anytime Venom is doing weird things, like Frog Venom was great. I love Frog Venom.
Anytime it's funny, anytime it's playing up, like you're saying, this odd couple dynamic, it's brilliant. Like, all the stuff in Vegas was the highlight of the movie for me. I thought all that was super fun.
Completely pointless to the plot, by the way. But yes, the most fun.
Yes. Well, Alan, this is a case of, similar to the Star Wars prequels, where you and I agree basically on what are the pros and cons, but we weigh it differently.
Okay.
Because I too thought the plot was, it was kind of a hackney, like Lord of the Rings meets Thanos waiting in space during the Avengers plot.
But it looks like Vecna from Stranger Things for some reason.
That's the thing. There were a couple of emotional beats that weirdly landed, considering the movie was rubbish.
Yes.
It was not a good movie, but you know how you can like crap as long as you acknowledge that it's crap?
Yes.
That's how I feel about the Venom movies. I just rewatched the first two this week, and watched this one, and the whole time I'm like, this is garbage. And I just kept eating more handfuls of the garbage because it's fun. I enjoy it.
Yeah, no, and there is nothing wrong with that. Like, these are the absolute epitome of turn your brain off popcorn cinema. And I say that in the nicest possible way. Like, that could be a criticism, and in this case, it kind of isn't. Like, I don't know if this is a good movie asterisk that's really bad, or a bad movie asterisk that is somehow great. Like, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's like that for all three. But for me, Tom Hardy's performance makes it worth watching.
You are making us look bad. No, I am not.
Who's this movie for, and who's it not for?
It's for people who, A, want to turn their brains off, B, want to be deeply confused, C, are questioning their own friendships and sexuality with alien symbiotes.
Yes, which you know who you are.
It's a specific audience, but apparently it's a big audience. Who knew?
It's a very similar PG-13 to the other two. Weirdly, there was a sexual use of the F word, which I thought you couldn't do in a PG-13. I thought you could use the F word, but to hear mother effer in a PG-13, I was like, are we okay? Like, I wasn't offended, but I was like, I didn't know we could do that.
Well, listen,
But,
apparently in a Venom movie, you can kind of just do whatever you want, because you can also just eat people's heads, like a lot.
Yeah, surprisingly bloody and graphic for a PG-13. I was with my kids, and I'm like, oh, geez, and my kids are like, yay!
I'm either the best or the worst parent in this room. So, okay, Jono, what can we learn from this movie?
You know, the thing I was most moved by, as I have been the entire trilogy, is Venom and the other symbiotes coming to appreciate the people that they are surrounded by and choosing to defend them. And so there is, even though it's not a very strong message, there is a beautiful message of being observant of those with whom you differ and finding the things that you can love about them. Is when Venom says, I'm very happy we didn't eat this lovely family.
Yes.
But they're this weird hippie road tripping world schooling family, and Venom's like, they're lovely, you know, and I thought that was beautiful. Also, gambling never pays off.
That whole scene, I was just dying laughing in the middle of this movie that had been deeply boring for like 10 minutes. Suddenly that scene happened and I was just cackling in the theater.
No, this is all the money that we have.
What is this feeling? It's like
This feeling?
It's like all of my problems have gone away.
All right, so Alan, it's time to give your rating out of 10. What would you give Venom: The Last Dance?
This is the hardest movie I think I've ever had to rate because it might be a 7 and it might be a 3. It's definitely not a 5, and there's no way in hell it's a 10. So I think it's probably a 4, maybe? I'm going to call it a 4 because I just don't know. I have no idea. It's a 4? Question mark?
Sounds good. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Look, it's a 5 out of 10 movie, but Tom Hardy elevates it to a 7. That's my take on it.
Yeah, Tom
So
Hardy.
you're
Tom
4.
Hardy is an 11 out of 10 in this.
Only one way to find out.
If you enjoyed the first two, you'll enjoy this one. If you didn't like the others, this isn't going to convert you. Go have fun with Venom, or don't. But let us know what you thought of it in the comments below.
As always, like, subscribe, and hit the bell. And until next time,
Watch movies at the theater.